Going live.
Awesome. Welcome to the next Elixir installment. First one in a good few months over Christmas and everything. So today we're going to talk about Plug, which is a pretty key library in the Elixir ecosystem. But since it's been a good few months since we've had a meetup, it's great to see a couple of new faces and hope Elixir's gradually kind of taking up the world and everyone's workplace and you're pushing the good word. So it'd be cool to do a couple of new things that are happening in Elixir, generally, and news and updates. So new version Elixir 1.2 is pretty recent. 1.2.2 is the latest one just released in the last few days, and 1.2 brought us a bunch of things that the language is evolving. One useful thing is multi-aliases. So particularly in like Phoenix projects, if anyone has sort of found, you kind of have this long list of aliases and that sort of thing in your top of your file, and now you can kind of collapse that a bit more succinctly. So that's nice. One big thing is there was kind of a problem in Erlang itself, not in Elixir, where maps they're only efficient for a fairly small number of keys. So there is like a big thing. We don't recommend you use maps for data structures where you've got millions and millions of keys and that sort of thing. So there are other data structures like hashdict and stuff, which were efficient for really big data sets. And now they've sort of redesigned maps the underlying implementation in Erlang, and that comes through Elixir. And now you don't need to worry about these other data structures. You can kind of just use maps everywhere, and they're really efficient for really big data sets. So that's cool. And so a couple of those things will be deprecated out of the language that you don't really need anymore. So that's pretty cool. There's a new a few new subtle changes, which I guess if you're fairly new to Elixir, you probably haven't even come across needing these things, where you couldn't use, because of the way pattern matching works, it kind of clashed with the syntax to previously to use variables in maps. So it's sort of extended the way you can use the pin operator, which is just an operator with this little that guy there. Just means use an existing variable value here instead of pattern match. So a couple of those things are changing, and you can now pattern match multiple things with a new special form with. So here you can see we're pattern matching one thing here and then another set of things here. Then we can do something with all of those together, which is probably subtle language changes that most people you don't kind of notice on your day-to-day thing, but good to know that these things are evolving and there's new stuff you can do. And sometimes you hit something in a language, you're like, oh, it's annoying that I can't do that, and now you can. Some regular things, if you're kind of trying to learn Elixir and trying to work out where to go to get some good resources, there's heaps of stuff around the web. There's a official Elixir wiki thing, which has got all sorts of stuff from conferences to meetups, talks, podcasts. That's a good spot to kind of start diving into all the other sort of content. There's some good mail group, fortnightly or weekly mail out things, which just has got tutorials and job postings and all sorts of stuff. So that's a good place to start to go digging. If you haven't seen the ElixirConf videos from last year, there are actually two conferences. It's a bit confusing when you look around YouTube, because there was an EU one earlier in the year and then a US one later in the year. But particularly, all of them are, but the US one is more recent, and the US YouTube's videos are all on YouTube, and they're really good. I highly recommend them. There's lots of really cool stuff and bigger picture stuff about there's some really detailed ones about Elixir, but a lot of them are actually just about building bigger systems, the kind of systems we're trying to build today on the web in general, with lots of interconnected devices, and how do we tackle these things architecturally, and how Elixir as a technology kind of just fits this space really well, with its kind of distributed concurrency model and all that sort of thing. And there's some really good videos. there was one, trying to find the name of it in the list. That was particularly good. I can't see what's there right now, but that's okay. That was generally about delivering software as a whole, and how a lot of the things, Elixir as a technology is adapting are just fit really well to how we want to do stuff, and why this is really awesome. So generally for our meetups, Elixir is definitely kind of gradually taking over the world, and it's a great technology, and it'd be great to build our little community here in Brisbane. So definitely want to hear from you guys what you want to see at meetups, what you want to do at meetups, topics you want to hear about. If anyone's been learning a bit of Elixir and has something they want to present, I'd love lots of other presenters. Even really small things like a set of 5-minute lightning talks by different people, so it's kind of just a really small thing you have to do. Some months we've done the coding dojos, which are really fun, maybe intimidating for some people to have to get up and code in front of a group. And so I'd like to hear your feedback, what you want to do more of, what you want to do less of, but just do stuff that helps us all learn Elixir and get better at things. But without lots of volunteers, you can hear me chat away instead. This month, the topic is plug, and I guess if you've dabbled with Elixir, maybe done a couple of Phoenix shoots and that sort of thing, you probably use plug without really knowing that it was there. If you come from a background like using Ruby or Python, you would either definitely know a bit about rack or WSGI or something from another technology that does a really similar thing. That's a good idea. Yeah.
So we order it in like
be
trading well.
And that usually works out at pretty good pretty good timing. I meant to mention that.
I was like, I hate to get started and then I realised we're all really hungry.
But that would be great timing. So
any dietary restrictions? No, just alright. A bit of a Jared Herman thing again. Like coffee or free water?
wings. Couple of wings.
Couple of wings, yeah. I'm guessing Domino's.
Maybe.
Just
a bit less than half a pizza each.
Possible in store. Alright, I'm the orderer. Delivery.
You do really well around that. You order pizza?
No.
Okay. Yeah. So someone's choosing some bread.
I'll just keep doing this while you keep showing.
I guess on the topic of learning Elixir and the shoots and videos, it'd be great to hear if anyone else is sort of managing to do any Elixir in their day-to-day work.
Yeah.
What stuff do you do?
I'm working like education.
Okay. Yep.
We just started using Elixir for some little sort of service apps, ETL stuff, doing, statistics and things that I do, databases and all that.
Yeah.
But it's something like
Did you get to make that call, or sort of you had to convince a bunch of other people to allow a new technology? Or
I've been finding it for a long time. I've started finding it early and while I was secure with that.
Yeah.
There were a few people who were interested, and it's just the sort of company that I want to
them and they're getting on board.
And so well, we have a little meetup together just in-house
Yep.
once every week at lunchtime. So at lunchtime.
Yep.
We've been going through with a group of developers, a lot of them who are just interested in learning how to going through exorcism into IO.
Oh yeah, yep. Yep.
The exercise there. We at least do a few of them and then come together at lunchtime to discuss them.
Yep. Yep.
What's interesting, I think, at the moment is there's a lot of cyber-stick things in Elixir and in Phoenix that people have worked out yet. And it's all still settling. There's very different ways to write code, even doing something. And it's interesting to see where people have different ideas how to code.
Yeah. What technology is predominant there before now living like a rail shop?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And it's I know it's interesting to note that there's a good few other bigger companies. I noticed Servlet API are kind of starting to build a lot of their stack in Elixir and advertising for Elixir developers. Engineer are sort of switching from Ruby to Elixir. There's a few other sort of bigger, mostly Ruby shops. I guess it fits really nicely as a transition. But for me, I've been working a lot with Scala lately, and to me, Scala's got a lot of similar goals, but it really makes me appreciate it. So, that's great to see it sort of gradually expanding because I guess there's sort of an explosion of using the Go and Rust and Elixir, but to me they occupy different spaces.
Yeah,
and
we're looking at Go for a few.
Yeah.
But mainly for stuff that we have problems.
Yeah. And I don't see Elixir not sort of continuing because everyone said they were going to use Rust or Go instead. So
Elixir fixes the value is probably no. This thing's probably hard. So it's very different. It's still kind of very different.
yeah, exactly.
I think it's something that Ruby started with the idea that the syntax of language should be usually understand.
Yeah.
That was people like Android.
Yeah.
Because I used to like that same role. You know, some people call it Java.
Yeah, but it's interesting with those. One of the things that really annoys me about Scala is that I think it's really hard to learn Scala without previously having known Java, and you often switch kind of into I'm working with Java now, I'm working with Scala now, I'm working with Java. But with Elixir, you kind of have that on your own, but it doesn't feel like that at all.
Yeah. I think it's useful to understand Erlang to be able to do Erlang because there's thousands of libraries there.
Yeah.
That are written in Erlang that you can use straight from Elixir.
Yeah.
Erlang is Elixir C#. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. So let's talk about plug. So on the surface, plug is basically an interface which defines how sort of web components can talk to each other. So it's similar to Rack. Servlet API, WSGI, that sort of thing. Basically, it just defines a really simple function of here's a web request, here's how you handle it and respond to it. And why is it interesting as opposed to some of those, like how that concept is existing in other technologies? They're really composable, being nice functions that you can compose functions really nicely and build like a true
It looks like Swan. Oh, there's no caffeine in Linux.
Yeah, you could change the screen timeout or something, but not there. So a plug is just a function, unless you take the connection, do something with it, and pass it on. So you always return the connection at the end of your function, and that a new version of the connection is then passed down to the other plugs in your chain. That's pretty simple. And then you can also define a plug as a module, which is just a kind of an easy way to then refer to your plug, like outside of from other modules and that sort of thing. And this has two functions. The first one is a call, and which is the same as the function, but it also provides an extra one, an init, so you can have some way of getting some default parameters or bootstrapping, whatever you need to. And like this is typically called at the beginning of, say, application startup, to kind of bootstrap some options, then you reconfig that you need for each particular plug, and then on every web request, only call is called with the connection, and you can do whatever you want. So here's some really simple examples of what you might do. Here's one that takes a connection, and for every value that you give it, it's putting a response header. So you can just give it basically a map of response headers and values that you want, and just adding them to the connection, and that connection then gets passed down the rest of the chain with those headers, and that's the new value of the connection. So that's super simple, and big enough for everyone to see. This one
I did kind of move forward because I wasn't seeing anything, but then again, one is back. So.
Go up one. This is another simple one, which is setting some locale information on the connection object, and a couple of sort of interesting things. So we can define multiple versions of our function so that we can pattern match on handling different cases depending on existing attributes of our connection and that sort of thing. And it's basically just assigning property in a connection that gets passed on, and then other parts of the application can then look at those properties that are set. So it's really simple. We have a function, we get a connection, we add stuff to it, we return a new connection. That's it. That's pretty much all the plug does. But let's do something useful with it. So there's a handy little tutorial which I'm going to kind of work through, which builds a little mini web framework from scratch, and then it only kind of goes so far, and there's some other interesting things to look at, and also build on it from there. All right, let's start with the interesting stuff. Big enough. Right. So some of the things could be useful to see, particularly if you sort of if you wanted to play with Elixir, had a little bit of a dabble, but not done too much yet. So let's create a new project from scratch. We get a bunch of default files. We always get a mix file. Let's open that up. So mix.exs has some basic project config in. We won't go through all of that, but once you've if you've made a simple Elixir project before, you will have seen those things before, just the kind of overall config of our app, including some dependencies, which we got an empty list at the moment. So let's follow along with this and whack in some dependencies. dependencies. There we go. Switching from Linux to Mac is really going to screw me up on the keyboard shortcut. I'll try and get it right. And you'll see there's this application section which we will take a look at up here. So by default, we have a thing called logger. So what this is airline projects. It's kind of sometimes a confusing overloading of terms, but it has modules that it calls applications, and because these run as separate processes, they're a thing you need to start. So you start up dependent applications as you start your application. So by default, we had one called logger, and we've added some dependencies. So we're going to have to start. Generally, it's a common thing. You add a library if it has an application that needs to be started. You also add this applications list of things that need to start. So often libraries won't have that. It is just a set of functions that you call. There's no need to start anything. The thing that provides some sort of service or application that runs, as all of these do, you have to start something. So we've got Echo is the database library, if you haven't used it before. Cowboy is like the standard Erlang web server that pretty much everyone uses. I'm not even sure if there are other real contenders. Cowboy's the one everyone uses. And we're using Plug, and we're going to just use SQI as our database. Okay. Oh, yeah. Cool, so that's, yeah. File a lib for us, which is, so we've got a module, plug, but nothing in it. Some things, so the interface said we have an init function with one argument and a call function with two arguments, and we need to return the connection or at the end of the call, and there's a bunch of plug functions which you use. So send response is something that basically adds a sort of content body to the connection, and so here's our super simple plug on application startup. We will say hello, and then we'll write something to the connection, return code, and we're very happy. So let's see if we can run it. So if you sort of yeah, that's a good point. Let's see it fail. IEX, if anyone hasn't used it yet, is just the standard Elixir REPL, and the -s mix means load my mix project. So IEX on its own, you can just run IEX, but that's not loading any of your project code, and the -s mix just means load my project, load all the dependencies so you can access any module. So it's you know, it should have yeah, it's good. I don't know if it will fail only on first try, unless I didn't actually save this, which is why.
No, you haven't.
Okay. So it should fail saying, you've talked about dependencies and you don't have. So that's how it gets some dependencies.
Just an hour. Just an hour waiting for bundle. was upgraded to the
Riveting. Riveting.
So if you, mix all by default, if you have things which need compiling and you haven't compiled them yet, first run it, it will compile stuff, and then if nothing's changed, it won't be recompiled future runs. So dependencies are checked out as source, and then they're compiled for your project. Okay, we have a console. So let's jump back to our little tutorial. So here is right. So our project doesn't we have kind of basically a very simple project. It's like when you have this Phoenix project, there's sort of existing Phoenix stuff that says here's how you start whatever, start a web server, make something run. We don't have any of that yet, so we kind of have to manually say start something please. So we call the cowboy thing and give it a module name, which is something that conforms to our plug spec, and we say please run. So here we see we have our little first print tab of the starting up, which came from here. So that's our init in our plug. So that's kind of on boot. So we did that. So pretty nifty. We have our wonderful web app. We have printed some stuff.
Yeah, ship it.
All right. So, and obviously now we're printing some stuff to the console as well. So every time we do that a few times, we'll add some more stuff there. So great, that's very fun. The simplest possible plug. We're handling web requests and we're just print some stuff. That's a good question. Let's try it. I'm not sure exactly what sentence sets on the connection. Yeah, we can assign it. That's the
not name. I hadn't thought about it.
Yeah, let's try. It doesn't complain, it probably just sets the content of the body. And so if you set it again, I'm imagining. Yeah. Good question. I don't know if there's at some point the state says I've set the content, you can't do anything more with this connection. I'm sure there are some situations where that is the case, but it does already send through.
But it's still responding.
Probably the first one actually responded,
Yeah.
and then the next one said fuck off.
The service function generally be the last thing.
So
it's in the name like send or something.
yeah. So our function would actually not be finishing because it errors before it finishes, but we've already sent a response to the browser, so it doesn't care. But if we had a so if we had a
saying it's terminated,
if we had a another plug chain, no future one would happen because yeah, it's all. Cool. think